One of the greatest examples of the honor system in the entire history of mankind is the grand institution of marriage. Now, yes, I'm very well aware of the fact that these days the concept and the idea of marriage is under vicious and brutal attack. And as a matter of fact, it's pretty much taking a bad beating right now in our society, especially Western society. For example, you have the MGTOW movement, which stands for men going their own way. And that particular movement espouses the idea that men should just leave alone those pesky and troublesome women and go and do their own thing. And as far as they're keeping company with women, they only want to do that casually. They want to have as many women in their rotation that they sleep with and then continue to build their lives and seek their purpose otherwise and all that other stuff. And then you have radical feminism that's telling women, hey, you don't need a man to live a fulfilling life. A man can't do anything for you. And all you got to do to live a fulfilling life is just have a great big bank account and a beautiful career. And men and women in both of these movements and other movements like it are finding out that these particular movements have some very serious shortfalls in them. As a matter of fact, if you look at the concept and the idea of marriage historically, it is marriage itself that has been responsible for some of the strongest civilizations and empires that ever existed. For example, the Roman Empire. I mentioned this before in a previous video. The Roman Empire rose to prominence on the power of family value. Now that includes dating and courtship rituals, as well as the concept and the idea of marriage itself, the institution of marriage. When it began to go in decline, it is the Roman Empire, was when those things, marriage, the idea of it, courtship rituals, and all kinds of other things in society became morally corrupted, and that drove the empire to its knees and eventually completely out of existence. Marriage is the key, one of the major keys to holding a society together, and we have lost sight of that. As a race, really, just a human race, we've lost sight of that without good, strong, healthy marriages, societies falter, and eventually, whatever society that's been corrupted from the inside out, and that where marriage has been badly affected, that society will eventually cease to exist. Right now, American society is facing that very real possibility of going the same way as the Roman Empire did and the Greek Empire and some other ones, because we no longer take seriously the tenets of marriage. We don't honor it. And, you know, when I talk about marriage being the great honor system, I want you to think about when you were a kid. You know, when they used to sell, I'll tell you about my experiences anyway. There was this rec center I used to go to. I was in a band, and they used to sell these little candy bars, and there was nobody there actually vending the candy bars. You didn't get them out of a machine, and you know, there's nobody there, say, collecting the money. They just operated on the honor system that you would put the 25 cents or whatever it cost back then in the box and take what you wanted, and that you would not essentially pilfer the candy by just going over there, taking it, not leaving behind the even exchange that was meant to keep the cycle of candy bars rolling, you know, because you needed money to buy these things. So if people were just taking this stuff for free, you wouldn't make any money, and eventually you'd be out of candy bars and you'd be out of money. Well, it's the same thing with marriage. People have taken so much from the idea and the concept of marriage that there's almost nothing left of it anymore. People no longer honor it. People, for example, if you're married to someone, even if you're just in a long-term relationship with someone, that also operates on the honor system. Think about it for a minute. When you're not with that person, and you're not going to be with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend 24/7. That's just not practical, and it's just not possible, and it's not healthy. You're not going to be with them that often. At some point, you're going to be out of each other's eyesight, and you're going to be out of each other's hearing range. You're not going to know exactly what the other person is doing. So you have to trust and have confidence in them that wherever it is or whatever they're doing, they're not doing anything to compromise that marriage or that relationship. That is called the honor system. You demonstrate honor for the institution of marriage by actually keeping it alive even when the other person isn't looking, even when the other person is not there to observe your actions and see how you're actually doing it, even though that's also holds a certain degree of necessity too between people. They have to see each other actually working on building the marriage. They have to know that the other person, each person in that relationship is working diligently to keep that relationship healthy. And because we have taken so much honor out of these sorts of things, out of the dating rituals and out of courtship and eventually out of marriage, now we see families are suffering the same way the families suffered during the times of the Roman Empire. Now we see a decline in society of morals, a decline in society of children being productive and learning what it means to be responsible and to take seriously their obligations, not only to themselves, but to the rest of society, to be productive and to add something to society of value. We're losing all of that right now. And one of the primary reasons we're losing it is because we have degraded the institution of marriage. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear that. There's some relationship coaches I listen to. Quite honestly, I'm subscribed to some of their channels, and they very strongly advocate, especially the male relationship coaches, men getting the hell away from women, not involving themselves intimately with them because they say things like a woman can never love you, a woman cannot be trusted, a woman is so hypergamous that she will do what's called monkey branching. All that means is that if she's with this one particular guy and this guy serves her purpose, but she sees another guy that can serve her purpose on a wider plane or wider platform, she'll go to that guy. So she's always trying to scale up to get the next best guy. And so this gives the impression that all women are nothing but gold diggers. All women are nothing but shameless opportunists. And as far as the men are concerned, you have feminists saying, well, look, you don't have to be with this guy. You can't trust the guy. As soon as he sees another woman with a tighter thighs and a better body, well, he's going to bunny hop over to that girl and be with her. And all this other sort of stuff, it's really, we've reached a point in society where men and women have to go back to trusting each other the same way that they used to. Now, is this to say that back in the old days, so to speak, that we didn't have infidelity between couples, or we didn't have bad marriages or bad relationships? Well, of course we did. But a lot of those things in many respects were more the exception and not the rule. And when you looked at what marriages were like 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, completely different models than what we're seeing now. As a matter of fact, what we're seeing now is not even a corrupted example of what marriages used to be. It's a whole nother bad set of baggage altogether. It's completely different. It's almost virtually brand new. Not unheard of, but in this day and age is almost a brand new phenomenon. If it weren't for the fact that it's already happened before thousands of years ago to other places, and to other people. But the reality is that marriage as an honor system does work when people honor it. It does. And the thing about that is we have to make better choices in mates. We don't do that anymore. Social media, for example, has made it so that how we choose a mate these days, and not to mention just social media, popular media, movies, and all these other sorts of things, give people the idea that you can go about mate selection willy-nilly and everything's going to be fine. And you have to remember something. Back years ago, more people selected their mates from within their own enclave. Like if you lived in a village or you lived in a certain town, or you you belonged to a certain tribe, you married very close to home. You know what I mean? So when you did that, you married somebody who understood your values, more than likely, understood your values, understood your life doctrines, and had the same life missions that you did, basically. We don't have that anymore. We're in a new age now, the information highway, where you can talk to people literally on the other side of the earth, and you can get involved with those people emotionally without ever having to meet them. Through a digital platform, you can do this nowadays. And what that has done is taken intimacy out of human interactions, where marriage is born out of that kind of a real life, real time intimacy. And we've removed all of that and made it very superficial. So, when we add a superficiality to it, it's kind of like, You know, if you have a ship that's made out of steel and then there's some areas of the hull of the ship that you have to replace or repair, instead of replacing it with steel, you replace it with paper mache. Well, what do you think's going to happen? Eventually that boat or that ship is going to sink. You know, it's not going to be seaworthy anymore, and that's where we are with the institution of marriage, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's part of the reason why I've decided to embark on producing a series of videos. Some of them I'm going to ask for donations for. Most of them will be free. And I'm going to go over with you step by step how to put the honor back into marriage and back into long-term relationships and have healthier, happier, productive, and more harmonious interactions with your significant other, much more so than most people are enjoying right now. In fact, most people really aren't enjoying much of this stuff. They complain and they decry about, their mates are this and their mates are that and all this other stuff. And for this reason, we're seeing a high rate of divorce. As all of you know, the divorce rate, especially here in the United States, is well above or significantly above 50%. And this wasn't the way before. Now, again, back in the day, should some people have not been married? Yes, some people should never have gotten married even back then. But that was more the exception than the rule. And that's what we have to get back to, the exception. Because it's become the exception now to actually find somebody who's involved in a relationship, a marital relationship especially, that actually functions healthily and that functions with long-range possibilities for happiness and long-range possibilities for productivity, positive productivity, and fulfillment. Right now, a lot of people are not experiencing that. Hence, the MGTOW movement and the, radical feminism, because a lot of these things started out to right certain wrongs that were legitimately wrong. Admittedly, that is the truth, but it went too far. As far as I'm concerned, they became very implosive elements of society, and they're really not helping the cause for the promoting and advancing a society to a level of national strength and vitality in terms of morals, in terms of raising children that are productive and that are strong and that are respectful. We've lost all of that. Not all because, but primarily because we have destroyed essentially the institution of marriage. And I want y'all to know that marriage still is a very good thing. It's not obsolete. It will never be obsolete. If you honor a good relationship, two people honor it, it will be a good and beautiful thing to observe. It will be a good and beautiful thing for those two people to live in. And it will be a great example and a beacon of light and hope to people who are observing it. This is where we have to get back to. And I'm going to show you through my series of videos how that can be done. But it all comes down to us as individuals. It comes down to you. Are you going to be an honorable person? Because marriage only functions well when the honor system is, honored. That's how marriage works. And that's what this is about. The marriage that you go into should be the only one that you are involved in, not somebody else's marriage or somebody else's bedroom. And that helps to keep society strong when people turn inward a little bit and take care of their homes properly. And that includes taking care of and making sure that your marriage is sufficiently viable and then making sure that your marriage is healthy at all times. You do that, you have a healthy society. You don't do that, you have an ill-fated and sick society. And that's where we are right now. So I want you to keep these things in mind. Remember, first things first, all relationships and marriage operate on what? The honor system. Be honorable, be loyal, be productive, and be happy. Well, my name is Dave Thomas III. This is Faked Out by Love. Be sure to like, be sure to comment, and be sure to subscribe to this video, subscribe to my channel rather, and hit that notification bell down there. That way you'll know or find out every single time that I upload a fresh video. And start looking for the emails, and not just the emails, because some of you will get emails, but you will also be able to find the link at the bottom of these videos and each successive video that I produce here over the next several months, with a link that you can go to donate to the cause that I have embarked on by purchasing one of the videos. Now, you can pay pretty much what you want. There's a minimum price that I ask for. It's very minimum. It's like $4.99, $5. Or you can pay more if you want, if you really like the content. That's up to you. I appreciate the support. This helps me get the word out there. This helps me to advance the cause of getting back to a place in society where we have strong and healthy relationships. And in the long run, trust me, it's going to help you tremendously. All right, well, I'm getting ready to go to bed because it's late here where I am, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys again. In the meantime, if you're going to bed yourself or you're staying up, don't stay up too late if you don't have to. It's up to you. And I look forward to hearing from you again.